Welcome to the DYSON'S Effect,
a show about everyday situations, issues, and topics we talk about and give our opinions.
We may even listen to yours.
We are your hosts, Johnny
and Teresa,
also known as Mr. and Mrs. Dyson. Oh, gosh, I like that intro. I really like that intro. I wish I could play it again for y'all. Shout out to the producer. Really like that intro. Well, as y'all can see, and maybe hear if you're not watching us for me on YouTube, I am doing this again solo. I kind of want to, this ties into why I'm doing this solo. This is going to be interesting how I break this down. This is going to be interesting on how I put things in perspective for me and everyone. So for people that may have not been listening or been missing out, my wife is out. She is going through her motions as far as everything she's going through with the health issues. If you're missing out on her health issues, we talked about it before. My wife is battling FSGS, kidney disease. So it's kind of a hard of a transition of everything that she's going through. But what I'm going to talk about is transitions and transitioning and purposeful transitioning, as I put it. She's going through her situations, but she's also going through some issues mentally on how to deal with this. One of the things is that is hard for my wife is that physically she looks fine. It looks like there's nothing wrong with her. It looks like she's okay. Besides this kidney issue, she could probably argue that she's in some of the best shape she's ever been in for a long time. She became vegan. She lost weight. She exercised. She did everything by the book of what she's supposed to do. For many people that have high blood pressure and hypertension, one of the biggest things is they try to get you to exercise, lose weight, watch what you eat. She did all three of those things, but somehow the high blood pressure fought so much, trying to keep the high blood pressure, or her body trying to keep the high blood pressure, that it basically beat up her kidney, for lack of better words. So being that it beat up her kidney a little bit, that's what caused the FSGS, because of that situation. But as I was saying, physically she looks like she's in great shape, in some of the best shape she's been in. The other part that she spoke about, and what I'm going to talk about a little bit, is the mental aspect. Mentally, she's going through a process of how do she cope? How do she deal with this? We've talked to many people. I've talked to nurses. I've gotten her in contact with nurses. I've done many different things on trying to mitigate the responsibility on her so it doesn't have to weigh too much on her. And this transition is very hard on my wife. Very hard. To the point to mentally it's hard for her to grasp and do other things. She also has some mental anxiety that she spoke about before on this podcast. Nothing that she hasn't spoke about. She has some mental anxiety that she's been battling. And it's not anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10 that is at a 10. It's probably somewhere around a 2, a 3, something like that. But it comes up every now and again, as people may or may not know how I describe anxiety, depression, and people can argue with me on this point. But how I describe those are as basically they're on a sliding scale. So somewhere along the line on a sliding scale, it goes to with how much it affects your day to day, how much it affects your eating, what you're doing, your health, your mental capacity, a realm of things. And within that process, the more that it affects, the more you may need medication for it. If it's really not affecting your day to day as much, it's not that high of a severity, for lack of a better word, some may argue. But her transition doing this is very hard for her. So hard that she is adding to the little bit of anxiety that she had. So if it was at a 2 before, it's probably at a 4 right now. Maybe at a 5. I can't speak for her, but, and I know it's not, well, I can't say I know it's not, but it's at a point where it's affecting her things that she wants to do and her goals. And that's where, and so that's one of the reasons why she hasn't been doing the podcast. It's based on, you know, her health issues, of course, one part. And the other part of it is based on how she feels. And that's all basically what I'm talking about, the transition of everything that you're going through, the transition of everything that we're going through. So she's going through that, and this is a big transition for the rest of her life because, as she spoke about before, she is in a process of going through, or may have to go through dialysis. She has the fistula in her arm that she got. So it is a thing that she's battling with at this point in time. But while she's going through what we're going through, while she's going through what she's going through, we are also managing other things in our household, as far as our children, as far as our businesses, as far as our finances. We're managing and juggling all of these things, and it becomes a challenge. And being that it comes a challenge, it makes it hard to push through certain things. It makes it hard to push through certain things, whether you like doing it or not. So that's partially why she's not here. She's going through one of the biggest transitions of her life. Partially it's her mental aspect of dealing with it. Another partial aspect is it is actually her health that she's going through. Now, she's not sick in the bed. She's not in the hospital. But health-wise, she is going through, how do she deal with this? And mentally, how do she deal with this? Like, to fathom where she is in life. And it's a transition that she's going through. The interesting thing is that I can't do anything about it. I can't take away her pain. I can't manage it for her. I can't do anything. I can talk to her till I'm blue in the face, but she has to do it herself. I can make everything that she's worrying about that may or may not be a big issue, I can take those away. But how anxiety works, you'll find something else to worry about or have anxiety about. So that's for her situation. For me, now this is gonna sound crazy. Y'all gonna have to deal. Y'all gonna have to just hear me out on this. Hear me out. For me, I was trying to sit and think. I'm thinking about my wife. I wonder if, because she's talked about all of her, all of it, these times she's been back and forth to the hospital for other issues, not just this kidney disease. And I'm wondering, is my wife giving me anxiety about her, thinking about her all the time, for one? Or will I have anxiety thinking about her so much? Because everything that I'm doing is predicated upon taking care of my wife and my family. And it's interesting because I'm trying to sit and think, like, do I have anxiety? Because I'm always thinking about, all right, how do I alleviate the stress for her? How do I make things more better for her? How do I take this situation, turn it around, all right? Or if this faucet is on her as far as stress, how do I turn it off? How do I let her go relax? And I'm always thinking about that. But for some reason it doesn't. It doesn't. So I wonder if she's, and unintentionally so, not that she's trying to, of course. But I'm wondering if my wife is slowly kind of giving me anxiety about her health situation and her anxiety. It's interesting because I'm always worried about her well-being and how can I get her to a better place. Now, I don't have it to the extreme, to go back to me on the same example. I don't have it to the extreme. I'm always thinking about it. It's messing up my way of life, the things that I'm thinking about. So that's why I notated that. Can it lead to that? Can it lead to a journey or a road to anxiety? Because I'm always thinking about her. And one of the small conclusions was that I don't think so, but I see her being stronger than what she's being her. So being that I see her stronger than what she's actually going through, that takes away the anxiety because I think that she can do it. So if I think that she can do it, that cripples the thought of worrying about her so much a little bit. That cripples the thought of, is she going to be all right? Because I think she can do it. But it's almost like, well, I think and I know that she can do it based on I've seen a lot of things she's done in her past. So that's the transition I have just with my wife. Just with my wife, that's the transition that I have of dealing with the questionable anxiety, if that makes sense. That's just that. The new transition I have is, if anyone's been following my Instagram, my Facebook, and my Twitter page is Your Benevolent Coach, or Benevolent Coach on Twitter. It's me being a life and fitness coach. And I'm going through so many different transitions because I'm being pulled so many different ways in regards to my professionalism in it, as far as how the business goes. I'm being pulled to do many different things in nutrition. There's so many people that want my advice, my expertise, my knowledge, education, everything in nutrition. And then there's the life coaching. Now, to talk about my life coaching aspect on different things, many different people have their reason for being a life coach, and you will hear different stories about it. As I said before, I questioned being a life coach because I didn't know if it was respected. I didn't know if it was a real profession. I didn't know if it was something that I could really make money on. And it took me a while to accept that I've been a life coach my entire life. I just didn't know if it was the right thing and time for me to do it. So very interesting point is that I dragged my foot a lot when it came to me being a life coach. A lot. I've dragged my foot a lot on it. A lot. And I prayed so much about it. You know, although, which we will probably want to get into it in a separate time, but, you know, although I'm not a Christian, I do pray a lot. It's something that I struggle with on being a life coach. So, talking to other people, I know, even for my master coach that of the class that I was in, and for different psychology classes I've had, it's things that I know. Sociology classes I've had years ago, sociology books, psychology books I've read and still remember. Now, not saying that's my profession, I'm saying those things pulled me to be a life coach. And I still wasn't sure about it. So once I came to the agreement to go ahead and be a life coach, I also had to narrow down. So one of the things about being a life coach, you have to narrow down. You have to be, okay, you're a life coach, but what type of life coach you are? So it's just like a lawyer, right? If you're a lawyer, what type of lawyer are you going to be? You're going to be a criminal defense lawyer, you're going to be a public defense, you're going to be an entertainment lawyer, you're going to be freelance, any type of lawyer, you know, a contract lawyer. So the similar thing with a life coach. What type of life coach you're going to be? You're going to be a grievance life coach. You're going to be a sports and leader life coach. You're going to be an entertainment life coach, whatever the situation may be. So I got the good nuance of being something catered around wellness, health, fitness. I was thinking about how I was going to do this when I was in the gym. I just figured like a lot of the things that came to the gym, fitness, nutrition, all of this for me just became easy, for lack of a better word. This is just the stuff I know. I knew, and it came easy because certain books I read, I knew what the book was going to say. That's going to sound so bad, but I know I can read. This is going to sound bad, but certain books I can know where they're going in it before I read it, because there's only so many ways you can go in this example or in this definition of this book, and that was clarification. Like, okay, well, I know that, and I know that, without even really reading it. There's a lot of books that I read like that. I know what angle they're going and what examples they may use before I even read it, especially because it goes to the personality that they have. So I become and that's why I became a fitness coach. Got my certification as a fitness coach. Now with the fitness coaching, there's all type of certifications that are agreeable, not agreeable. People want you to have these certain certifications. Some people even want you to have a degree in it to be working for different things in fitness, as far as working with different sports or colleges or hospitals. Totally understandable. But my thing is, it's with the knowledge, the understanding, the wisdom, and education, and experiences, and everything wrapped up in one, of how I cater to it to life coaching, cater to it to people. So the reason why I'm saying that I'm being pulled is because, okay, I've been pulled through nutrition, but now I've utilized my skills in fitness. And I know that I'm good at it, to the point that I had a short stint at a gym to test my skills out, to test to see if I really know this, to test to see if I'm really the person that I say I'm in this fitness world. Well, long story short, I end up, there's no secret that fitness gyms pay their trainers bad. So I'm not going to bash fitness gyms or anything like that. But I needed it to get clarification and confirmation that if this is something I want to do, am I good? And my skills are really good? Over the course of time therein, I've got many clients / patients now. Is that I'm being argued to call these patients by a colleague or a friend that has another business that I'm partnering with. So these clients / patients, I was telling the manager how good I was. That's okay. That's all right. That's good. It does helps out to say that, hey, he's really good. Yeah, that does good. But I eventually had to leave. I eventually had to leave because it was just, I didn't need to stay there for a long period of time. I only stayed there for a couple of months. But I'm good friends with a lot of people that work there. No hard feelings. Just was a business decision I had to make. I had to move on. So I'm real good friends with one of the managers and some of the other people there. I still have some of the numbers of the clients, although I didn't contact them. Or I haven't contacted them. The clients has walked out because I'm not there and they don't want another trainer. If anybody knows a little bit about fitness training, once you build a relation, I built a relationship and a rapport with these clients, but unknowingly and not trying to, I wasn't intentionally doing these things. And I'm gonna tell you a short joke about one of my clients that he texted me. Let me see if I can go to it real quick. I was life coaching these fitness clients at this gym, and it was just spewing out of me. And about after a few weeks, I ended up catching myself like, oh, am I life coaching these people? Ooh, should I be doing this? And what a lot of people don't know, these big gyms, they don't want you to get too far into giving them nutritional advice because they don't want that issue hanging over their head about what they can and can't do, those things, for one. And then for two, they don't want you to overextend yourself, for one, and the clients are not paying for that. So I was giving a lot of nutrition advice when I wasn't supposed to. One day I'm giving a nutrition advice to this younger lady and this older gentleman, probably in his 60s. He always works out and he's on the Stairmaster right by our fitness training area. Great guy. He's been watching me. So he was asking me about another gym that opened up and, how would we counteract that and so on and so forth. But he also got into it and said, young man. And he looked great for his age. So he was like, yeah, young man, I heard you over there. Everything that you're doing, keep doing. A lot of places don't do that, and I've been watching. You're really good at what you do. I've been working out for a long time. You're really good at what you do, and keep doing what you're doing because a lot of trainers don't do what you do and don't talk to the people how you talk to the people. And for me, it's one thing for a client to say that. It's another thing for somebody to watching you and say that because this person has no benefit towards it. Then for the manager to say, hey, these people walking out because you ain't here. So I want to go real quick and went to one of the, and I think he might listen to this podcast too. So I don't know how. So I gave him a shout out. Say, hey, I haven't forgot about you. I hope the new trainer you have is giving you your money's worth. He said, hey, brother Johnny, It's good to hear from you, and I hope all is well. He said, let's just say I had a Bentley, meaning you. Then went to a Dodge Charger. Evenings. The Dodge Charger broke down on the third visit, and they used a substitute who's my new morning trainer. So he's calling the new trainer a Dodge Charger, and it broke down. So he has a new trainer, which is on the morning shifts now. He said, I'll call him a Cadillac. A guy from Michigan. So far, so good, but he's no Johnny. So I'm getting these confirmations that I'm great in life. I'm great, or I'll say pretty good in life coaching. Pretty good in being a fitness trainer. Pretty good in this angle that I'm in. Pretty good in using the nutrition aspect. And I'm being pulled into monetizing this different ways. I'm being pulled to how do I keep these things in alignment of everything that I do. I have to make this a schedule. I have to make this a way of life. And I also have to have this monetized to change everything that I'm going through, to be honest, to help, if possible, alleviate or be proactive, I'll say, to alleviate stress in case we have to go through a dialysis situation, or when we have to go through the dialysis situation with my wife. So I'm going through that transition of how do I go through these motions in a quickly, timely manner to go through what I need to go through. So I'm in a transition as well with this process. I'm in a transition of dealing with this thing with my wife. I'm in a transition of dealing with this thing with the businesses that I have. I have a couple other websites and other businesses that I own as well. And I'm in the process of building these up. I have a brother by Gene. My brother Gene, good friend, Gene. Love the guy. We was having a talk months ago, because I'm reflecting on it now, and I just talked to him today, quick text. But he was saying that he doesn't get why I'm so positive. He doesn't gets it, but he don't get it. So I tell him the breakdown of who I am, my upbringing, everything. He's like, yeah, I get it, but I don't get it. My brother Gene is a great mind. Very intelligent person. He's very intelligent. And he's basically saying that he doesn't see how I always see the positiveness inside of things. And he doesn't understand when there's things to break me down. It's interesting because I broke it down many different ways. And this is a conversation that we had. It's just that, long story short, basically I'm saying, why not me? If not me, nobody else. If I'm a life coach, I have to stay positive, not just because it's my job, because it's also going to have to be my way of life. I have to think that I can push through these things. I have to think that I can break through this no matter what the occasion is, and this is my molding period, even though it doesn't stop. But Gene contacted me back today after I sent him a text because I heard he was sick and he's getting better and so on and so forth. But I text Gene because he asked me how I was doing. And I said, I'm doing good considering everything. I have a good new frustration. And my brother Gene said, and I take this as a compliment too, I love this. He said, you're the only person I knew that would put good and frustration in the same sentence. And I love it when he said that. But I text him back, meaning I guess it's good to be frustrated about what's on my mind because it forces me to think. So as everything that I'm going through, mentally, it's a possibility that these things could possibly break me down, could tear me up. What my wife is going through, balancing these businesses, balancing my household. I also have my mother living here with me too. And my mother's doing real good, but I love that I'm taking care of my mom. But this transition, I'm going through a new transition in my life, and I think that it's a good frustration to have. It's a good frustration, purposeful transition to have. I believe that it's meant for me to battle these things that I'm trying to battle. And this frustration that I have is somehow a good, well, for one, it's good for me to be frustrated about my business as opposed to someone dying, me losing someone. It's good to, losing everything. Being depressed over a certain situation, being somber, being low spirited, many different angles on having bad frustration. Just so many different loss of finances, everything. So I have good frustration about a business about one of my businesses that I'm in. And one of the things that I also say that is good frustration is because it's confirmation that I'm good at it, right? So if it's one of the things that I've told Jean before, I've told my wife before, and I say it, and I might have said it on this podcast before, that one of the things that I say in my prayers is that God continue to give me signals, gifts that I'm on the right path. No, God continue to give me signals, gifts, and signs that I'm on the right path that you have for me. And I've gotten all of those. I've gotten all of those signals, gifts, and signs that I'm on the right path. I just have to get it all to make sense. And that's, to me, how I look at it is that's a good frustration to have. That's good. I could see if it was something that I had good clarification on, because that means that, is this something that I really want to do? Is this something that I really want to waste my time with? And how some will argue is that you will argue if you really want to do it. And that's why I call this is a purposeful transition. Even to go back to my wife's situation is a purposeful transition. Purposely, this is her transition of what she needs to go through or what God is putting her through. Purposefully, this is meant for her to go through. This is a customized journey for her. I like that. A customized journey God puts you on for this. And I know that I'm going through this situation. I know that I'm going through this transition. I know that everything that I'm doing, the people that I'm touching, my close brothers that I'm in interaction with, my other brother Squeak, my other brother CJ Craig, these brothers, we've always been friends, but we keep each other on point. We keep each other on task. We challenge each other. We build. We give each other ideas. That's how I know I'm on the right path. Like, I'm meeting all these amazing people. There's times, and my wife can tell you this, there's times I can be at a store, I can be taking a long walk somewhere by myself, and someone will will talk to me, and this person can talk to me forever, and they will tell me their whole life story. And sometimes I can talk, and sometimes may not even say anything. But to me, I take that as a gift, a sign that God is showing me, like, you see what you got. And sometimes I can be so, I'll get lost into everything else that I have going on, everything else that I'm doing, the hustle and bustle that I'm trying to do. While I'm saying that same prayer, I'm still getting lost and staying focused and not putting those things first, because it also becomes a balance on how to monetize it for especially the people that have a gift, you know, that have something that's in them that's for them to do. It becomes a balance. Like for the people that, let's say a person that loves to cook, right? For a person that loves to cook, there's times where they may go around cooking free for people, and they're trying to figure out, I wonder how much will people pay for this, or how much should I charge? And then you go to tug of war with it, but like, I don't want to charge people this. I don't want to charge that much. But then you also have to deal with, I have to charge enough, because how do I pay my bills? Right? And that's one of the tug of wars I deal with, is how do I charge what I charge and what I charge the people. Because one of the things is that the people that need the most help need my service, and the people that need the most help can't afford it. That's just the truth. The people, so let's go down, right? Let's go down this little small list. The people that need the most nutritional help are low-income people that nutrition is not their first idea, and those people are on the highest percentage of medications. The people that can afford life coaching on a consistent basis, those people are not the same people that deal with nutritional issues. Now, the other middle ground is the people that can afford proper fitness coaching is a different type of people, different type of person and people as well. So how do I mesh all those together to get the right target of what I want? Now, I figured it out, but that's what I was dealing with. I was dealing with, like, how do I get people, how do I really give the people that need the most help and make it worth my time? Because I'm not a real big materialistic person, and I also have a family to take care of, though. You know, taking care of my mom, my children, my grandbaby Kaden. So how do I deal with that? And that's something that I wrestle with, because I also, you know, hinder on what could I give away for free to these people, because I really want to give them something. I really want to feed them the stuff that I know, because I think the stuff that they don't know is killing them, you know. And I just think that if this is one of the things that I'm called to do, it's how do I feed my people. So that's why I say that this is a purposeful transition that I'm in. I'm in a good frustration transitional period of going through everything that I'm going through with my wife, because this is building us to be stronger. This is also building my family to be stronger, my children, that, you know, to see how we deal with things, to see how we manage what we manage post pandemic. I mean, the things that we've gone through, maybe talked about in books, like the previous pandemics, of course. So how we rise up out of this situation is going to speak volumes. How we rise up out of this and what we can become will really help people, really change people. I really do think that I'm going through, and my wife is going through, a purposeful transition. But being that you heard about and how I explained our situation, I don't want you to overstep or overlook your purposeful transition. I think that all of us are going through or will go through a purposeful transition, meaning it is customized for you to go through this transitional period. Because in life, you have to go through these things on your journey for your next level of your next blessing. Now, whether you believe in God or not, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. Even if you don't believe in God, you can still be blessed. Even if you don't believe in God, you can still believe that you can get something good, good karma, good intuition of what life has for you. And I think that the things that we go through, if you stay on the journey, stay on the path, and continue to move forward, and continue to stay positive, very important you stay positive, and go the extra mile. Not just stay positive, go the extra mile and do good. How can you stay positive and help do for someone else while you're going through what you're going through? I mean, there was a time when, and it may not seem like a big deal, but I was going through the line and we was buying something at Walmart, and it was an older man that wanted a newspaper, and I think he had like something like some bread and very small items, and he was going in this little wallet to get some change. I knew he didn't have that much money. Now, it wasn't a lot. Probably was under like $10, $7, wasn't that much, but I paid for my stuff. I seen what he was getting, and I said, I'll pay for that too. And he was like, huh? Are you serious? I said, yeah, I'll pay for it too. And he's like, why? He couldn't believe someone was doing something good for him. And he just at a loss for words. And being that he was at a loss for words, he just thanked me so much that I bought, and it wasn't a lot of money. And honestly, I didn't have a lot of money at the time. And I was going through my transition with my job at that time too. So one of my things that how I know things gonna come back on me, I purposefully do things for other people because I know it's gonna come back. I just know it's gonna come back. You know, my brother was telling me that I sometimes I tip good so much. I tip too good sometimes because I know that little money that money gonna come back. Because I know these people have to pay their bills like this. I know they have to do, they counting on this money. I know they need this money. That money is going to come back. And I always do it when I want to say when I'm going through something the most, because I want to help somebody out. We was at a restaurant one time, and I asked her, what's the biggest tip you ever had? And she was like, $30. I think it was like $30 or $40. I gave her a $100 tip. She's like, huh? She's like, oh my gosh, you like, what's $100? Like, if we really thinking about it, like, what's $100 to give to somebody? To change their life, to help somebody out. That $100, it probably could have went to another restaurant for her to go out to eat at, or to some shoes. But that's none of my business. The thing is that when we're going through our most transition in life, we need a push through moment, and I use that as a push through moment. To how can I do something good for somebody else? I mean, when we was living in Columbus, Ohio, one of the neighbors was mean. He was extremely mean guy. Older guy, just grumpy all the time. They making too much. He say we lived in a duplex at the time. He like, they making too much noise over there. Call the police on the one time. Like, I don't think it was no one in the house at the time. He was just wanting to be mean. The wife was nice, but he was mean. But anyway, it was snowing. So, what a big deal. I snowed our driveway, and their side was a driveway, and their steps. And I did it for like off and on for a while. And until his wife was like, thank you so much. And it wasn't a big deal. He stopped being so mean after a couple times of me doing it for him. But he's going to be what he's going to be. I didn't do it for him. I do it so I can get my breakthrough in life. So I can get something good to come back to me no matter what happens or what I do to somebody else. So that's what I want to do. That's what this is about. This is about how do we uplift people and keep people on their journey for their purposeful transition. My wife is going through her purposeful transition. I'm going through mine. And I'm pretty sure everyone that's listening is going through their purposeful transition. So please follow me on all of my social media websites. Got some good things coming. I'm still working on for my business. I know everyone is like, when? I'm working on a lot of different things, and I actually have a team that's working with me as well. So your benevolent coach on all social media, and LinkedIn, of course, and benevolent coach on Twitter. Our email address is thedysonseffect@hotmail.com. The Dyson's Effect on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My wife's Facebook is I am his Mrs. Dyson. I wish she was here so I could hear her say that. And her website is down. We're working on it. Me and my friend working on it. Her website is down, but her social media for her business is Miss Curvy Flavors Boutique at Miss Curvy Flavors Boutique at Miss Curvy Flavors Boutique. So contact her. Anyone's listening to this, just give her a little words of encouragement, words of inspiration, while she's going through her purposeful transition as well. So that's it. Please contact us. Give us any ideas that you may have. This may come out on a different date. I'm thinking about using a different release date. Let me know how you feel about that, if you like it or not. So, there is no Teresa. So, this is the one and only, the purposeful, meaningful, highly respected, internationally loved, locally recognized, Mr. Johnny. And this has been another episode of the DYSON'S Effect. Thank you. Peace.